Hello everyone, it's Animation 4. Welcome back to some more Omnifactory. I've been doing some stuff. I will start off by saying I'm a little sick right now, so I won't be as full voiced as normal. But uh, here we go. I've been doing some stuff. I've been planning, and I got some stuff I want to do today, mostly in the vein of automation. So a lot of the stuff we've been doing, I've been kind of batch processing instead of automating, and I want to try to fix that. Um, the first one I actually already have done, and that is red alloy ingots, which I now have craftable. Red alloy ingots are made by either alloy smelting 4 redstone and a copper, or blast furnacing a copper and 2 melted redstone, or technically a nailed copper and 1 redstone, but that extra step is super annoying. So I can make them now, and I can make them thanks to a little setup I made up here, up on the 3rd floor, with this new fancy schmancy blast furnace. It's actually going to save a lot of issues down the line. So this blast furnace over here is hooked up with a constant supply of oxygen from the ME system through this fluid interface. And essentially this is just going to make annealed copper. That's its only purpose. This one is going to be everything else. I've hooked up to an EVCEF, and the interface is right here, not directly attached because some items have to be split out into this fluid extractor. So this is also going to be able to do lumium and signalum, because those have to be sent into the mana dust has to be sent into the fluid extractor before it can be sent in. So that is done here too. So this just doesn't allow mana dust or redstone into the item input. Those would be sent around to the extractor, into the fluid input. But we also have this up here, and these are the auxiliary fluids. These are things that some of the blast furnace stuff might require that I don't really want to include in the recipe. So we got argon, we got a blank one that it was going to be oxygen, but then I realized the conflict with red alloy and helium. So anything that requires argon and helium, we just don't worry about it. It's just there. So for instance, I've already made a glowstone doped bowl, which is made with a stack of silicon, 8 glowstone, and 8 argon. Hey, there's the quest too. So I don't have to worry about the argon at all. I can just create a recipe right now. I'm gonna actually do that, where I say, spoilers. We say a stack of silicon and 8 glowstone becomes one of those. We throw that recipe right up here. It's that simple. The purpose of today is not to make glowstone doped bowls, although they are neat, I guess. There's new things I want to do. The first one I mentioned last time, I want to update the pulverizer or washer pulverizer centrifuge setup that's been very manual and time consuming. So for instance, right now, I want to process some of this iridium we got from the tier 4 microminer. The most efficient way to process iridium without being overly complicated is to pulverize it once, send it through an ore washer, pulverize it again, and then send it through a centrifuge. So those 4 machines I happen to have right here. And if I don't want to send it through an ore washer, there's actually going to be 2 lines, one that has just pulverizers. And also the ore washer I'm going to provide with distilled water with this distillery. The question always comes down to, where the heck do we put this thing? So this is like automation stuff, but it's also automation stuff that I plan on being relatively engaged with. Whenever I get some ore, I want to go over to this place and, drop it in. Maybe come back every now and again and see the process in case it takes a while. So it can't be too obscure and out of the way. I'm thinking that this building might actually be good for this. So this building is the one we did last time. This one is also going to be a very engaging building with stuff in here that I'm actually doing. But we have at least space for lower floors. The lower floors are in pieces, but we have space for at least 3 more lower floors. That's kind of already hollowed out if you want to do like extended floors like up there. This isn't going to take extended floors. So let me decide on a space. We can start laying something out. All right, are you ready? I don't think you're ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Nope, not this floor. 1, 2, 3 here. So, I did some building. I also did some fancyifying. And I actually really like how this looks. Just in general. This side's still kind of plain, but we'll get there. It's this part. Look at this. It's so pretty. Looks very neat. So this is a dual setup that does pulverization and ore washing. So you can either send something in to be pulverized twice and then sent into the blast furnace vacuum freezer, or pulverized or washed, pulverized, and then sent into the blast furnace and vacuum freezer. After all of them, actually, I need to change this real quick. Let's extract brown. After both of them, they go into the centrifuge. From the centrifuge, we got to decide what to do with it. This is the lowest priority here. It's going to try not to send things here unless there's a better place, or unless there's no better place. It's going to first, if it's stone dust, it's going to end up here. Then we have this crate, which is going to be all the byproducts. Advanced big item filter here, so we have lots of space to put things. I don't know what sticky mode is. Selected items will be sent to this or the sticky outputs. So only things that are allowed in here. This will be small piles of dust, excess dusts will all go in here. Some of those things will be packaged. I was trying to figure out the best way to do the packager, because you need 9 items. And if we don't get 9 items, then it's going to get stuck in here and then nothing else is going to process. But there's something called the limited item filter. And it's a regular item filter, except it maintains how many items you put in. So I will make sure that everything in here is 9. So it only extracts groups of 9 items, which then get pulled out and sent into here. I'm actually going to... No, that's fine. And then it gets sent back into the system. So let's try it. Let's see what happens. Let's just grab a few pieces of ore here. The big thing I'm processing right now is iridium. We're not even going to do 36. We're going to do like 8. We're going to do 8 of these. Toss them into pulverize and ore wash. It's pulled out, tossed into here. Actually, I just realized it's going to be an issue because this has to extract also to the chest up here. So that is purple and blue. Yeah, see, that's an issue. Well, okay. So I will need some more filtering here and some more item conduits. Yeah, let's just pretend it's working for right now. And we'll fix it later. Look, it centrifuged it. And stuff should be being sent places. But it's being sent here because it can. So we want to say, for this, you're allowed to have tiny piles of platinum dust, regular piles of platinum dust. I want to pull out on this side, regular piles of platinum dust. I want to pull out on the top 9 tiny piles of platinum dust at a time. Definitely not pulling 9. Yeah, that definitely didn't do the thing. And then an item filter. Allows you to filter based on the number of items in the source or target inventory. It sets the number of items by clicking item stack at the right size. Adjusts the item wheel. When used on the extraction side, the configuration number specifies how much should be left behind per slot. When used on the insertion side, how much should be inserted at most for the whole inventory. Okay, so I have to do this on this one. That'll limit that. And then tell this to extract. So let's try it with... Yeah, so it's not extracting it because it's too much. Right. Or because that's in there. It's pulling that now. Well, messed that up. You can just go in there. We have more osmium though. So let's do this. We're going to come in here. Put that in there. We're going to raise that up to 9. Take all that out. Why is... Figuring it out. Figuring it out slowly. So that's filtering that. So I want to set this to a higher priority. So if it can go in, do that. But that means everything else is going to go away. So I have to put a filter here that blocks stuff like this. And then here, this is set to 9. Put this in here. Nothing's happening. Always active. Oh, because this has to go on insert. And that's also in the way. But I think that's going to limit the maximum, not the amount extracted. This is really hard. All right, made some tweaks, some updates. Seems to be working better now. It's a bit annoying to input stuff because it kind of have to do a lot of stuff manually for the first time, but then it kind of goes. All the channels are now green. Everything goes everywhere because everything makes stone dust and everything makes byproducts. So here you have the pulverizer, which just pulls straight from the chest, nothing else. Pulls out to the green circuit. The green circuit can go into here. It's probably mostly going to go into here with a filter for some crushed ore. Extracts on green. The filter here has purified ore. Extracts on green. The filter here has purified piles and impure piles. Extracts on green. This inserts on green for just the dust. Byproducts end up here. There they are. Stone dust goes here. So the first time I do something, any byproducts are just going to be left there, and I have to decide where they go. But after the first time, it becomes very simple. So I just say, hey, I got some iridium. Let's just do 8 to prove a point. Let's do it through the pulverize and ore wash, which gets me a little bit more osmium. So it drops into here, creates the stuff. Stuff gets pulled out right away, begins the washing. Got some tiny piles, which end up here. It's pulverized again, which actually is too fast for me to notice. Centrifuged, sent into there. More tiny piles up here. This is also where big piles go, but big piles I have being extracted on this line. Still don't know what to do about these because I haven't figured out how to single out 9 of them. I can only insert at most 9 of something. So I don't quite know how that's going to work. I'll try to figure something out. But I think it's going to take a little bit more space than this. But that works. It goes into the blast furnace, goes into the vacuum freezer. We've got some ore out. I realized I had this as an HV blast furnace, so it was going super slow. So it's now an EV blast furnace, so it's going much faster. You know, relatively. And it's working. We're getting more iridium. And the plan is to hopefully upgrade the last patch of solar panels. Alright, just finished setting a new thing up here. So now, we should, for the most part, be able to auto-process tungsten. Let's do nice 8 scheelite here. Into the pulverize and ore wash chest. They'll go through the process. They'll get pulverized. They'll get sent down the line. They won't get sent down the line because I apparently missed a step. Oops. They'll get sent down the line. Yep, now it's working. And then sent back over here to this chest, which is kind of the tungsten backup chest, and eventually tossed into the disintegrator, where there will be molecularly disintegrated tungsten into its or tungsten slate into its tungsten and lithium, and scheelite into its tungsten and calcium. The excess oxygen will, of course, be voided because we have too much oxygen. And the tungsten, I thought I dropped something. The tungsten will end up in here once I get one and can put it in as a sample. Yeah. Of course, it does take a while. That's why we have this big buffer chest. I expect most of the processing here is going to finish rather quickly and start filling up this buffer before it's done. And I do have to be careful of cross processing because it takes a multiple of 7. If I do tungsten and then scheelite, if there's a little bit of tungsten left, it's not going to process any of this. But that should be easy enough to deal with manually. So that's what I'm going to do. So calcium goes here, and then calcium gets pulled out. This filter is already getting full. Like we're in the big filter, and it's not enough. Tungsten ends up in here, which is slowly churning away. And there's the scheelite that we processed. So I just have to, grab that out, let the scheelite flow in, toss that back in. And it's free tungsten. It's free tungsten. Not really, but it's easy tungsten. I'm just going to let that go. And hopefully it'll be good. Let's try something. The goal is to bundle items into groups of 9. We want to get 9 items at a time. No more, no less. If there's not 9 items, don't do anything. If there's more than 9 items, send them 9 at a time until there's not. How do we do that? My thought right now is a comparator. So with this, we can get a signal depending on how many items are in the chest. I put 1 in, nothing happens. 2, nothing. 3. This all depends on this actually emitting a signal at a reasonable time. 7, 8, 9. Okay, is it emitting any signal? No, we must need a filter upgrade on this. It must be emit signal for total storage. That might not need a comparator at that point, but we'll see. Cool, cool. So if I do 1, 2, 3, still 1, 4, still 1, 5, we're at 2, 6, still at 2, 7, 2, 8, 2, 9 is still 2, darn. 10 is 3, oh, of course. Can we do something about that? What if I remove this filter? Now it's just a power of 1. This does give you more granularity, but not enough. What can I do about that? What if I want to do it? Emit signal for least full slot. This might work. Okay, let me try something else. So we got this. Ton of stuff in this one. Actually, I need to storage downgrade it first. Storage downgrade so it can hold 8 items. What? 54? 54 of each? What? Stack limit 8 stacks? Reduce base storage to a single stack. You shouldn't be able to hold that much stuff. It should be a single stack, right? I figured that this would do like a stack total. No, it's a stack of everything. I don't think that's gonna work then. Emit signal for least full slot. Put the comparator on. It's not emitting anything because there's nothing in the least full slot. Put golden carrots. Got a power of 6 for the conduits. Okay. Let's put these in one at a time. So we got power 1. Oops, that's too much. Still power 1. Still power 2. Power 3. Nope. It still goes to 10. Darn. All right, I think I figured it out. There's no way to know for sure, but I think I figured it out. We have a second ME system separate from the main one with a storage bus on this crate, which you can see is filling up. And that has crafting recipes on an interface connected to the packager. The crafting recipes can specify that it needs 9 to craft. Then there's an export bus going into the main system. I probably want to move this over one just to get rid of this little bend. But there's an export bus going to the main system that has a crafting card on it. So I can say, hey, craft or export manganese. And it'll say, well, I don't have any manganese. But over here, there'll be a recipe saying 9 manganese makes manganese dust. So it'll craft that recipe and export it. If there's not 9, it's not going to do anything. I think that'll work. Let's make some cards real quick. We got manganese from tiny piles. I could have done this with just something like this too. I don't necessarily need a packager, I realize. Since I'm doing it the auto crafting way. But this will work fine. It's either that or an atomic reconstructor, which it'd be the same thing. It really would. Whatever. The other one we have, shoot, what is it called? This is molybdenum. Molybdenum, which I do have 1,500 small dust already. So put those in to recipes here. We will come over here to the wrong portal. Connect them up to this. So it knows how to make them. And then manganese and molybdenum. Oh. Got one of these. One of these. And we'll tell it. I gotta put the thing in first. I also need a way to pull back out of this, which is a downside of this as opposed to the molecular assemblers. I'm probably gonna swap out for a molecular assembler. I just want to make sure this works. Export these. It'll say, well, I need to craft them. Hopefully. And it'll say, I have the storage. And nothing's happening. Export manganese. Crafting card. Do not use stock items. Only craft items in exporting. Is it... Oh, did something happen? Oh, something happened. It worked. All right, now I just need actually, I can do this with a item conduit. Yeah. Too jumpy. I'm too excited. Insert there. Extract there. Boom. It's not fast, but it'll do the thing. It will process through all the manganese and molybdenum that we have in here. Technically, at this point, I don't even need this line because it'll see it as storage and be like, well, I got to export these and just export them. It's doing it it's alternating back and forth, which is the worst, but you know, whatever. It works. So this thing is actually working like real well. It's, yeah. I did change it to a molecular assembler. It functions a little bit faster now. It also means I can just kind of like do the recipes in here manually without having to pull them from the side. And it's processed all the dust. And there you go. We're left with 3 piles of each. It's not going to do anything with those. So I'd say that worked. As we need to, we'll add more export buses and more of these crafters. But for right now, it is enough. It does 7 of them. And it's processing away. It's actually, the blast furnace is faster than the disintegrator. So Yeah. We've got like a stack of tungsten though, and there's still quite a bit more scheelite to process. I'm gonna throw the tungsten slate from our last microminer mission in here. Get that going, just make sure everything's going to the right place. There's the lithium. That's the last recipe I had to add there. And yeah, that'll process away with me not touching anything, which is great because tungsten before was a pretty interactive process. And with that, we'll be wrapping up the episode here. This seems to be working fine. The scheelite's just about done. Got 2 more, and then there's a ton of tungsten slate to go through. And it's just going to keep going. We're going to get a bunch of tungsten out of it. It's going to be good times. And it's good to have. It's going to be nice to have. Next time, we'll be looking at automating rocket fuel. That's next on my list. I think that's pretty doable. But anyway, thanks for watching it. See you then. Bye-bye.